what's the best ball you ever threw in an NFL game?
Jake Kummerow against the Denver Broncos to clinch the division in 2020, the COVID year. They played a little cover 4. They pushed the safety, but he didn't move in time. I kind of looked him to the right, and Jake Kummerow was just running right down the seam, and I threw that ball as hard as I can, and it just stayed on a rope, and just as Jake looked around, the ball kind of caught him. But I threw that ball the hardest I think I've ever thrown a football in my life.
Josh, how we doing, man?
Doing good.
You said you love camp. I want to get to the bottom of this.
Okay.
Why do you love camp?
So the way that we do it, we go off to Rochester, St. John Fisher. We stay in the dorms. I was talking to a couple teammates the other day, and one of them, he's been to a few different teams. He's like, "You're the chillest quarterback I've ever been around." I'm like, "Thanks." He's like, "Yeah, I just, you hang out with the guys, you do all this stuff." I'm like, if there's two things that I love in this world, it's football and hanging with the boys. And I think camp is just that, right? Like there's not anything else. Every waking second that you have when you're not in your room, you're around your teammates, you're around your brothers, and I think that's really fun for me.
And it's simple.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're working 14 hours a day, but you never stop to think about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just on to the next thing. And I'm a hotel guy. I like a nice hotel room or a dorm room,
Yeah.
I like to get away. When you get kids one day, you
come back and the bed's
camp.
made. It's pretty sweet, and they do it right there. And you come home after or get into the dorm rooms after a long day. Guys are sitting down at the table playing cards. We're playing Catan. We're playing video games like
Catan.
Yeah,
you're into that.
Yeah, I'm the Lord right now.
You're the Lord?
I'm the Lord of Catan.
I know the guy.
Training camp.
I know the guy.
Do you really?
Yeah, he lives in my hometown.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're really into this game.
We're huge into it.
So explain it to me, like.
Yeah, I mean we've got
elevator pitch. Catan.
Yeah, it's a cross between like a Risk.
Yeah.
And a dungeon. I wouldn't consider Dungeons and Dragons really not anything like that. It's all strategic.
Yeah.
It's all strategy. You place settlements where you think the dice is going to roll, and each hexagon that you're on relates to a number, and those cards that you pick up when that number is rolled helps you build roads and other settlements and cities and development cards. And it's the first person to 10 points. So it's really just bragging rights. It's a way that we get to gang up on one of our other buddies too, and just like it's called rolling. You roll a 7, and you get to move the knight, and you put it on, and you get to steal from them, right? So it's pretty dang fun. So we get to go, and I'm usually the one that's winning, so I get ganged up a lot. But also Dawson Knox is just fun to get. He's gonna hate that I'm saying this, but he did not make our final table. It was a big upset. Tommy Doyle upset Dawson Knox to make our final table the other night.
Inspired to like
no, that's just kind of how it's just
I
mean, some days it just depends. Like, if you get screwed, there's going to be an opportunity for you to do the screwing. So you always got to work. You always got to watch out for that. Yeah.
Who's the Prince of Catan on this team?
It was Dalton.
Okay.
Dalton Kincaid.
Tell me something about, it was Dawson who, this is a rumor, and I believe it to be true, that to get you to slide, to incentivize you to slide.
I know where you're going with this.
You tell me where I'm going with this.
It was a former quarterback that we had here. The jockstrap?
Yes. What happened?
Incentive to slide was one of our former quarterbacks. I shall not name any names, but said he'd go out to practice with just a jockstrap on. Okay. And fair enough, I slid, and he paid his debt.
The dude went out there with the jockstrap.
Yeah.
All right, dude, first thing I said to you earlier was you look slim. You look good. Like, you looked good before, but how's your body? How do you feel? How long does it take for you coming out of a physical season to get to where you want to go? And then why a little bit lighter?
Yeah, I think this offseason was I approached it a little bit differently.
Right.
OTAs had a chef cooking all good things, and she was great. Her name's Christine. She was awesome.
Shout out Christine.
And she cooked things without the use of like milk and butter, and just tried to make things super simple and clean. So I was eating better. I took care of myself more than I ever have in our little month and a half break. Did some NAD stuff, did some IVs, bunch of vitamins and stuff like that. So that was also another plus of taking care of my body. And again, just I traveled a lot. So I was in Jupiter, was in Cabo, was in LA, was in Tahoe, was in Nashville, and just trying to be strict on what I'm eating and what I'm putting in my body. And I don't know if I should say this, but there's a secret trick that I don't know if it's true or not, but I've just thrown in a few Zins, you know?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
dude. All right. So what's the So what's the best flavor? What is your
all right.
rotator? Or
I'm not a big Zin guy. Like on the course, I'll throw one in.
Neither
but Dalton Kincaid
smooths out here.
Dalton Kincaid had citrus the other day.
You like citrus?
Citrus was pretty dang good.
Citrus is like a special occasion Zin for me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a smooth and a chill guy.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the unflavored, relatively unflavored.
Yeah.
So with the new chef, is it important for you to stay out of places like what is it, Barbell? Where did we go last night?
Bill Buffalo.
Barbell Tavern. Did you guys like it?
Oh
yeah. What'd you guys get?
I got the beef on whack.
Okay.
And I got a bunch of lemon pepper wings.
Lemon peppers are good there.
Yeah.
There's a sneaky one that's been moving up in my ranks. It's the spicy barbecue.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody tried it.
We got the suicides last night. The suicidals. Really? Yeah. Homeboy ate 5 of them thinking he was.
And I ate them all. And then I got the ones I thought they were suicides.
Are you okay today?
Oh, no, you were in the bathroom for a minute. Did you blow up the Bills PR room?
Nah, so we're all right.
Get that man some baby wipes, man.
That place is good, though, dude.
Yeah. No, it's my favorite place by far.
Is that the best place?
I think so. There's a lot of other people that'll maybe say different answers. Obviously, here in Buffalo, just the wing culture that we have in general. Everybody takes pride in their wings here.
Serious
and you can
wing
go
culture.
to, a hole in the wall and find some really good wings. You can go to the best place in town and you'll find some good wings. So there's a lot of different ones. I haven't hit every single one. I know I need to get to Gabriel's Gate, 911 Tavern. Those are the two probably, and Elmo's, right? I haven't done Elmo's
I had
yet.
a Guinness last night there with a hologram of you in the foam. Did you know they have that at Barbell?
Oh, I did not know.
Yeah, dude. Like,
that's pretty cool.
They were like, check this out right here. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, and you stay on the foam the whole drink. Like, you drink it down. It's still you with your hands in the air. It's sick. You need to
I gotta see that. Yeah.
Yeah, you need to order a
pretty
Guinness,
cool.
though.
So I haven't been to Barbell like in person in a while. I just kind of do it.
It was hard for you.
Yeah, if we did like a big group with football guys, I'd probably go. But there's also, did you see all the mugs on the wall?
Yeah, I did.
So I've got a mug there.
Yeah.
And the last time I was there, they like brought it out, and you could buy like people drinks and put it in their mug and stuff. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's
Isn't
awesome.
That cool?
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'd turn it upside down to drink. I didn't want to drink out of you. Fucking.
Come on.
Yeah,
no, you didn't. 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 But I have a mug there, and they gave it to me last time, and I mean, that thing was overflown with drinks, and there's some cash in there. And so it was, it's pretty cool. I think people know that that's my favorite spot, and they attend it regularly.
Can you go out? Can you go out and get a beer? Because you love these people. I mean, how could you not? But when there's 1,000, it's probably hard to get out and about. Yeah,
I mean, I think there's a little social anxiety that, I deal with every once in a while.
You got a little social anxiety?
Yeah, just a little bit. It's just being around a lot of people. Like, again, I'm from the country, so I grew up in the middle of nowhere. I'm just used to being with a small group, right?
Were you excited about Buffalo when you got drafted?
100%. This was my spot that I wanted to be. Like, I had fear of being in a big city and dealing with traffic, when I got traffic here, instead of a 5-minute commute, it's a 6-minute commute.
Right.
But yeah, I get a little bit of it. It's not the fact that I don't like talking to people. It's just like when you say yes to one, you got to say yes to all. And it's like sometimes it gets a little much, and it's my heart gets pumping a little bit. So that's something I deal with. And fortunate enough, though, the people here in Buffalo they're fantastic people, and they want nothing but the best. And I understand where they're coming from.
It feels like a college town. To me, when I came up and played, I used to be like, man, I want to tailgate here. I want to be one of the fans. You know what I mean? And for you coming from Wyoming, it's funny. I played in Laramie. I don't know if I've ever told you this, but we've only met once or twice, but we opened the season there. And that place fucking is difficult. I just like dudes were running in place at the end of the game. What's
That-
the altitude there? Do you have
7220.
Okay, you know the Jumbotron?
Yeah.
So what does it say? It says the altitude
says,
up there.
Extreme caution for altitude sickness, 7220. So
Are there flames on that thing?
like, does it shoot fire?
No, because I might have been hallucinating, but for 10 years I remembered it saying "Welcome to Hell."
Oh no, you were hallucinating.
I think it was like like
psychologically, you associate it. It's one of the coldest places on earth, but it is hell. Like it, the first couple weeks I was ever there working out. Like I don't know if I finished a workout because I was like eyes rolling in the back of my head, ready to pass out. Like we had this thing called the circuit, and it was Coach Duval and Coach Strop. And it was just the most brutal workout you can think of.
Yeah.
And they did it to us on the first day. And there were maybe 14 or 15 guys out of the 100 guys that were there that actually finished. And you walked into that training room, and it was like a morgue. Like it was guys on tables, passed out, IVs.
That's what it looked like at halftime of our game.
Yeah.
Bro, I was like, this is triage.
Yeah.
Like we ran out of IV bags.
Yeah. You can't get enough oxygen up there. And it takes, so the science behind it. So this is what we've been told. I'm not a scientist, so I can't.
I thought you
whatever.
were. Give me.
It takes about 2 weeks for your white blood cell count to actually get up to the levels that you need to be normal up there.
Mm-hmm.
So when teams, especially teams from sea level, come up to Laramie to play, it was like they are struggling. It's different. And I actually got asked this the other day, is it like a real thing? I'm like, it is unbelievable.
It's the realest thing. And
you walk up the stairs there and you're like out of breath.
I had played 83 plays up there, bro. Like Nate, who's sitting here, is one of my young guys who was, I had him on his visit and everything, but he's like, I'll never forget. I've never seen you tap out and do this towards the sideline. Like 3 series in, I was like,
on the sideline didn't know what to do because he was the guy that never came out.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, I'll never forget it. And for 10 years, I told people it said "Welcome to Hell" on the billboard. They just came out and said it, and they were like, I'm pretty sure it didn't say that.
Maybe back in the day, rules are a little bit different and society's a little different. Maybe it was.
You had to enjoy though. Going on a 2-minute drill or going tempo and watching people melt.
It was unbelievable. Like, and you look on the sideline and all the oxygen masks, everybody on their opposing bench is just like puffing and puffing with that thing over their face. And it's real.
We got our ass kicked by a bunch of ranchers that day.
Yeah.
Guys are ranching now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
There's some tough dudes there.
They are very tough.
They're
like
just Western dudes, man.
And most of the walk-ons there are like Wyoming born and raised guys that are just like nothing bothers them.
Yeah.
Right. Like the cold, they're fine.
Yeah.
Like put them in any drill, they're gonna make it out. Like they'll figure it out.
I actually like the uniforms too. I think the yellow and brown's cool.
You.
Yeah, you do too?
It's different.
You do too though.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I like it too.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about this team, the Buffalo Bills. Is it hard for you with all your abilities sometimes to say, no, I'm not gonna throw it there? Because when I play with you in Madden, which I do pretty much every night, I throw about 3 picks a game because I feel like I can fit it anywhere. I'm Josh Allen. When was it in your career that you were like, okay, like I can throw it wherever I want, but maybe I'm gonna take the check down?
Probably halfway through my second year playing against New England, I threw 3 picks in the first half, I believe. Yeah, and there's a video of Brian Dable just absolutely reaming me on the sideline.
He's an all-time motherfucker guy. Yeah. He can motherfucker.
And at that moment, like something clicked, and I just like, it's like, all right, maybe I don't do
maybe
that.
I should chill out.
Maybe I should just chill out and find other ways. And again, like I know everyone wants to talk about the turnovers and this and that.
I don't.
Whatever. I play the game how I feel is the right way.
Yeah.
And I do whatever I can to help my team win football games. And sometimes it is hard to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, maybe I just need to do less to help this team.
Right. Like for me, I was wondering because you got a killer instinct, man. Like that's what I love about you. And then you'll play a game like last year you played Dallas and you guys are like, nope, we're just going to run the ball up their ass.
Yeah.
Do you walk out of the tunnel and you're like, that was fun?
Yes. Yeah.
You threw the ball 17
times. You know what was fun is waking up on Monday and Tuesday and feeling really good, and not like, help me up.
Is that how you feel on Monday and Tuesday?
Some days, yeah. Tuesdays are worse. Like
Tuesdays are always worse.
Especially if you're dealing with pain and you take a Toradol or something. I'm not advising that.
Hey, I talked to Coach I saw Brandon Bean earlier, and he was like, "You look like you got a couple snaps in you." I was like, "If 5 people get hurt, you can call me, but you got to have Toradol."
Yeah.
You got to have Toradol, Brandon.
People don't understand like that. That thing works, and you don't feel anything the day after, but it's the Tuesday morning when you wake up, your body is hurting.
A little delayed onset
Just
muscle
a little
soreness.
bit. Yeah.
On steroids there. But yeah, Gus Farrat, a guy I knew that played back in the day. You remember him, the quarterback?
Yep.
Banged his head into the wall. It's my homie, but he's just a different bird. But he used to take him on Wednesdays for Wednesday practice.
Okay. Yeah.
Things have changed.
Yeah.
Things have changed. But here your play style is wide open, man. And I love when you do it, because especially now it feels like you know when to do it, right? Like you know when to just tuck and run somebody over or hurdle somebody. It felt like last year there was a concerted effort to like save that a little bit. Was that a conversation like, let's get you healthy?
Yeah.
And then when it's late in the year, we can pull it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I mean,
Yeah.
I think early on, just making sure, like doing what I'm asked to do.
Right.
And then when time comes to got to be that guy, I'll be that guy. Now, who knows? Every year, kind of its own version and different story, and I'm excited to see how this one unfolds.
When you hurdle people, you laugh. You like doing that, huh?
It's fun because like no one expects it out of me, right? Like
No.
the call. I used to be super slow, so like the fact that
at what point?
My junior college year, I started to get a little bit of speed.
Really? What was the key to you starting to run a little bit?
I just actually lifted.
You lifted?
Yeah. Like throughout, like Coach Salcedo, my baseball coach, his father was our third base coach, bigger gentleman, but he called me the Tortuga, which is tortoise in Spanish, because I couldn't run around the bases very fast.
Big Tortuga?
That was the big Tortuga. And
that's a cool ass name.
I went from football to basketball to baseball to football, like year round for 16, 17 years of my life. So I actually like never got in the weight room and actually lifted. And I tried, I tried to put on weight. I was eating anything and everything that my parents would feed me. Me and my brother, we just, again, we did so much, and our metabolisms were so high. Like I just couldn't put on weight, and I couldn't put on muscle. I was 165 pounds soaking wet my junior year.
Yeah.
So when I got to junior college, I actually started lifting weights, and I was living by myself. And, where I'm from, we don't have a lot of fast food.
Yeah.
But when I went to junior college, Carl's Jr. was right there.
Oh, yeah,
and
that's a new thing.
Wendy's and Carl's Jr., I was there damn near every day because I was like, I don't got time to cook for myself.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. We had Hardee's right down the road. That was slap.
That put some weight on me.
Oh,
so.
yeah. So when you get in the air, are you often, or have you ever had that oh shit moment? Like maybe I shouldn't have jumped.
Yeah.
Do you remember one?
2 years ago against the Patriots, I think it was one of the McCourty twins. Helmet straight in between the legs. That one felt good. That one felt good. Yeah, right in the balls. That one felt good. There may be a mic'd up for that from that too.
Really?
I don't know.
Your
may
voice,
be.
Your voice
I don't know.
cracked.
We'll see. The next play was gun trips right.
Right.
And then there was one time in junior college, I was playing Monterey Peninsula Community College in PCC.
Yeah.
And same thing, jumped and clipped my legs and just kind of flipped over. So
you feel like you're up on one of those rodeo bulls probably when you're at the top.
You feel like Ricky Bobby. I'm in the air. It's not good, like that's what you feel like.
Yeah. These receivers, man, I feel like people are, this isn't a narrative question, but it is, because I hear the things people say, and they're not counting you out, but it's like because Diggs is gone, you guys lost, and Diggs is a great player, and I'm a fan of Diggs, and I'm a fan of you. So this isn't a hit piece on Diggs, but I think you guys can be just as good and better. I mean, tell me why that.
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, I'm with you with Diggs. Like, I still love that guy like a brother, and he was so good for us here. The nature of what football is now, it's a lot of zone, a lot of too high, especially when teams play us. They kind of, because when they're playing man, eyes aren't on the quarterback. If you got a mobile quarterback, that's
never play
risky,
man
right?
You.
So it's a lot of zone. It's a lot of guys that understand where to sit, where to feel, where to throttle. And I think that we've got a lot of smart guys in that receiver room right now that I feel like can do that at a high level. So We got some tall guys that can go up and make plays. We got some quick guys in Curtis and Khalil. We got some long speed in MVS. And then some of these young guys are making some names for themselves. You talk about Shavers, who's been making some plays throughout camp. So it'll be interesting to see. Like, I'm very excited to see how this room comes together. But in terms of camaraderie and how guys are gelling with each other, it's at an all-time high.
Keon seems like a fun guy. The first thing we saw him do when he walked out of the tunnel this morning was tap somebody on the right shoulder and make him look left.
Yep.
Or whatever the fuck that is. And I was like, man, this dude's a kid in the best way.
He reminds me a lot of Dalton Kincaid in that sense, who reminds me of me a little bit in that sense. So it's like guys that love football, but we also just love having fun. Like you have to have fun. Once you stop having fun with this thing, like, let's go do something else.
Well, the team's better when you have fun.
Yeah.
You're looser.
Yeah.
You don't dwell on the losses as long. And I look at Shakir and I think that guy's got a little bit of your old guy, Beasley. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We were just talking about this. Like, I think he's totally underappreciated.
100%. You talk about catch rate. I think he's won last year.
Yeah.
I think maybe even something statistically I saw, like, ever. Or am I tripping? Last year was number one. But anyways, he's got like the best catch percentage. You watch anything that he does when he doesn't even have the ball. He's flying to the ball. He's making an extra block. He's following it just in case someone fumbles. He's running the influence to get someone open behind him. Like,
That's
he
right.
does things the right way, and he's so fun to throw to. You see the ball within his hands. You talk about the Steelers game last year, cutting up through the defense and scoring in the playoff game. And I'm excited to see him step into a bigger role with this offense. We haven't asked him to do a whole lot over the last couple of years. Obviously, the second half of the year, we incorporated him more in our offense, and you saw what we did. So, very, very excited about his season coming up.
Yeah, and with Keon, does he have a physical comp that, like, somebody that you've seen? I know comps are mixed bag. Some people don't like them, but
yeah, when he was going through his college tape, I thought he was kind of a mix between like a Michael Thomas and a Des Bryant.
yeah,
Obviously a big guy, great body control, and I think Des and Michael Thomas have that great body control, and I think he's up there with them. I think he's the best body control that I've seen in terms of running to the right, jumping off his right and getting left, and then running left side, jumping off his left and getting right. And I think that's his basketball background.
yeah.
But again, he's 6'4". I think he plays faster than what his 40 time said. I know everybody knocks him for that, but he's a gamer too, and he loves the game of football. So I'm excited to throw to him.
Sounds like a guy that can run the scramble drill with you.
Yeah, I think so too.
What's the key to that?
A lot of trust. But again, I think football IQ is on there, right? Like, I think he's got extreme football IQ, knowing that, he's taller than most DBs that he's going to play. And if their head is turned towards him, he's open.
Yeah.
Right? They're not looking at where that ball is. They're looking at what he's doing. He does a great job with late hands and putting himself in position to move his body and catch the football. So just understanding that as a concept, I think he's got that down for the most part. And again, it's only going to get better as we go along and we learn each other a little bit more, but very excited.
Before I ask you about the tight ends, I just popped into my head, so I really want to ask you this question. What's the best ball you ever threw in an NFL game?
Jake Kummerow against the Denver Broncos to clinch the division in 2020, the COVID year. They played a little cover 4. They pushed the safety, but he didn't move in time. I kind of looked him to the right, and Jake Kummerow was just running right down the seam, and I threw that ball as hard as I can, and it just stayed on a rope. And just as Jake looked around, the ball kind of caught him. But I threw that ball the hardest I think I've ever thrown a football in my life, and it was just right on his chest.
I bet they could clock that thing.
Yeah,
I'm sure
they've done it before, but like, yeah, that was my most, I think, memorable throw, just because, like, again, just plays that I'd worked on and throws that I had worked on, and like coming out of college, right? Everyone's like, oh, he's got the strong arm, but how often do you need to throw it as hard as you can?
Right
It's
there,
like,
motherfucker.
Exactly. So, and given the I was in Denver, which they had the 5th pick in my draft.
I know, and you know what Elway said.
I know. So I've played golf with him a couple times, and get to jab him a little bit and be like, hey, you remember when you didn't draft me? And he's like, I know. So no, we have a good time. I've got a lot of respect for him, and him and his son. He was on the bag for him this year and last year, so I got to spend a lot of time with them. They're awesome.
Can he swing a stick?
Yeah, he can.
I bet he can.
I like unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah, you quarterbacks and specialists, and you guys can all golf, man. I can't golf. With Elway, when you hear something like that, how does it make you feel that he? Because when I talked to my dad too, who made a career out of chasing Elway, he told me, he goes, "That's who, before there was Josh Allen, like there was like he was like a baby Josh Allen, where everybody remembers the '90s,
Yeah,
because everybody's younger now." Where it's like you remember not decrepit, but older John Elway, who wasn't scrambling as well, the helicopter thing. When you played him in the 80s, he was like you. Do you ever watch his tape and see that? Or do you ever watch older quarterbacks and kind of see you in any of them?
Honestly, not really.
Yeah.
But I can see the comparisons.
Yeah.
And obviously, anytime you're compared to a Hall of Fame guy, like I'm not going to say no or anything bad about that.
Yeah.
But again, yeah, I know that he was that guy back in the day.
Dude, bro. He was that dude.
It was that's pretty cool to even be mentioned in the same breath as him, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
The tight ends, man. Like it felt like the offense was running through them, and I guess one and the same when you made that pivot last year towards those guys. Joe took over, kind of in the same time frame. What was the key to you guys looking different? Because we speculate a lot.
Yeah.
We analyze scheme, but what was it for you that made things a little bit easier? And the last guy was a great coach.
Yeah.
And I know you guys are cool and everybody loves that guy, Dorsey.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
It's just what changed.
I just think in terms of like being on the same wavelength, me and Joe, obviously him being the quarterback coach and just like hearing what we were saying and going out there and applying it. But what Joe did, I think that was, better than anybody I've been around is, what do you guys want to run? Like he wasn't like, we're going to run this, we're going to run that. It's like, no, I want the linemen. What runs do you guys want first?
Right.
And letting us take ownership in that, which again, to be switched in mid-year is such a tough position. And on one hand, you feel super shitty about,
right,
being in this position, but also very grateful that you were given this opportunity. And the way that he was able to balance that was very impressive. And that's why you see him as our full OC now. And I'm very excited to see how a full year goes with him. And, what he's doing in this offense right now, I'm very comfortable in, and I've got a lot of trust in him.
Is QB coach one of the most underrated things in a building? Because I always feel like to people on the outside, it's an afterthought. They're focused on the coordinators. They're focused on, position coaches maybe sometimes, but they never look at quarterback. And I always feel like that's a position on the staff where every day the most important person in the building is getting coaching from that guy. Do you feel like that's overlooked?
Without a doubt. And I think, again, the quarterback coach is relaying all the information from an OC to the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like that bridge between, this is as quarterbacks as a whole, right? Like there's certain concepts that we don't like. And we're sitting in that room like, I freaking hate this play. And the quarterback coach is hearing it. And if he can go to the OC and be like, hey, because as football players, sometimes we're conditioned to be a yes man, especially in the position that we're in. Like, I can do it. I can do it. Just call it. I'll figure it out. But in the back of your mind, like, I just hope he doesn't call this play. Right. So in order to have that trust, if you don't have it with the OC, you're going to have it with the quarterback coach.
Right.
And hopefully that quarterback coach can have your back and go up to and say what he needs to say. And I feel like I'm in a position now where, like, if I'm looking at Joe, I'm like, don't call this.
Well, just in general now, I feel like, and a couple people said that, you're like the big vet.
Yeah.
Year
7.
Is that crazy?
Yeah.
I remember being year 7 and looking around the parking lot, and I got a close parking spot, and all of a sudden I'm getting the perks, like the vet perks. And I'm saying, I'm old.
Yeah.
Like, you're not old, but do you feel like the vet now?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm 28 in football years. That's pretty old. Going into year 7, I know at quarterback, it's probably not as old as I think it is, but it's definitely a blessing. I'm very, very honored, but I still feel like I'm one of the young cats,
Yeah. What do you wish if the young rookie Josh Allen or Wyoming Josh Allen walked in here right now, what would you tell him? It's a tough one. Somebody asked me this. Somebody asked me this, and I was like, man, I'd probably let that kid down because I have no idea what to say.
Yeah. I just say, I don't know.
What do you wish you knew?
Find the check down a little earlier, I guess. I don't know. Like,
That's worked out pretty well.
Yeah, and I can't say like slide more and this and that. Like I've been,
You've had a great career.
knock on
I wouldn't
wood.
change much.
And again, I think everything that I've gone through and been through, I've learned so much throughout it that, and even going back to like the whole Denver situation, who knows what happens if I get drafted there, right?
You're
Who knows
exactly
if I
right.
turn into, I'm where I'm supposed to be, and I don't know if I'd change a thing.
Yeah, no, I hear that. And then one other guy that's very underrated in the building for quarterback is a center.
Yeah.
And Mitch is a guy who
Yeah.
people just respect, and he's that consummate
It's
pro.
dad.
You know? Yeah, it's your dad.
That's dad.
It's your second dad.
Not just mine. That was
Yeah.
everybody in the offense. Like that was like, what's up, dad? Like
What changes, you know, because the Eagles are going through it right now. I was just with Kelce the other day. He walks in the field. The guys are like, come back. We need your calls. We need the points.
Yeah.
There's so much that a center does. What's the thing for you that takes the biggest adjustment?
Well, I think the fact that Connor played next to Mitch last year
That helps.
and heard everything
Mhm.
and understands the offense. Like it's not you're bringing in a guy to learn a completely new system. Like
Right.
that's where I think we've got to step ahead. And I think Connor's been doing a great job in terms of communicating with not just me, but the O-line and whole. And he understands what he's doing. He understands the play call. He understands where the mic points need to be. And he's a very smart player. So I love having him as my center. And,
Yeah.
you know, I loved Mitch and loved what we were able to do here together. And I got so much respect for him. And, you know, that'll be like a brother to me for my entire life. And I got nothing but love for him and his family. But, you know, football is a business and we move on. And I'm very excited for Connor to step into that.
The business part of it, I alluded to Diggs, like there was a time where it was a lot of fun, right? Like, should people look
Absolutely.
back and I used to watch you guys and it was like you're in the
And it
backyard.
was still fun. I even going back to last year, like we had a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
You know, and I know that people can say what they want to say, but we had a lot of success.
Yeah.
And a lot of fun doing it, and on and off the field. Like
Yeah.
we were very much like this. So
Yeah.
you know, I hate that how it ended, right? But at some point everything comes to an end, and
It's business.
yeah.
That's the thing. It's so hard to form relationships in this business at a high level, and to perform at a high level. You guys are both on top of your game. I think some people think it's just like getting along. It's not that simple.
Yeah.
You know, so I was bummed to see it end, but I just look back at all the fun you guys had.
Yeah.
I'm like, I hope people realize, you know, there was a lot of good times.
Yeah,
too.
and I'll cherish those moments forever. And again, he did so much for me in my football career, and helped me become the player that I am. And I'll always respect him and love him for that.
After that, this is the first pro game I ever went to. Actually, the second one as a retired guy was the overtime game in Kansas City, because Kyle, my brother, was on the sideline in Kansas City. And you didn't lose that game. I always tell people, like, Josh lost a playoff game. Josh didn't lose that playoff game. The rules were fucked up. I wonder, it's a really random question, but did you sleep after that game? Like, could you go to sleep? Like,
There was like a sense of like it being surreal,
yeah,
right? Like didn't feel like we lost.
yeah.
So I didn't sleep too bad, just knowing that I left everything that
You
I
did,
had on the field.
But I just mean being so charged up. That experience had to be just,
it was one of the more wild experiences of my life. And that moment, that like, you know, flow state, I was
Yeah.
in flow state that game.
Yeah.
And just, I was here the entire time. And like up until that last touchdown to Gabe, that's when I kind of let loose. And, you know, it's unfortunate how it ended. You know, everything happens for a reason though. And it's, you know, I've been through a lot of different things over the last few years, and, you know, talking to guys like Vaughn and even Jordan Poor, and like things are already written. You know, you just got to enjoy the process and enjoy what's been written, and just going to go from there.
the Chiefs Bills rivalry has been a lot of fun to watch. I pull for you because I want to see you. I want to see you get one of these. And I look at Mahomes and I'm like, I mean, he's just such a rare talent. You're a rare talent. You just happen to be in the same damn conference. And I wonder sometimes did you see The Last Dance?
I did.
Do you ever feel like you're trying to rewrite that story? You know what I mean? Like
Funny enough, like, because The Last Dance came out before that season, right? It was
Yeah.
that COVID year. and Larry Bird goes up to MJ, you bitch,
You bitch,
like,
you.
I
Is
saw
that
him,
kind of the
I saw him
energy?
in the locker room, and I did the same thing. I was like, what the hell?
Isn't that funny though? Because I really do feel like it's football's version of that.
Yeah.
You guys are two of the best to ever do it. And yeah, it's been hard to get over the hump, but I feel like he's got to motivate. The Chiefs have to motivate you a little bit.
Yeah, and I think again that was the Patriots dynasty for so long. Of everybody wants to be that. Everyone wants to sustain success, and there's always going to be someone in that position until they're not.
Yeah,
and it's a great story when you can be the one that makes them not be in that position anymore. And again, that's what we're working for.
What does it look like in your mind's eye if there's a parade here in Buffalo?
Oh my God. I joke about it a lot with guys on the team of just like what the city would look like after the parade. But I know, like I have vivid dreams about it. Like just every square inch of downtown Buffalo being just absolutely packed with people. And I know people ride the bus. I don't know if I'd ride the bus. I just walk. I would just walk.
You can get on and off the bus. The parade's the whole point of winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like the Super Bowl is great, but the parade.
Yeah. Like it's almost
get
like
off, walk a little bit.
And that scene in Spider-Man is that the original where he's got the train and he's holding the train and like all of a sudden he falls forward, but they grab him and they just kind of lift him on back. I feel like that'd be a lot of players just be like crowd surfing, like no buses needed, just fucking.
Oh my God, dude. You're catching Fireball for little bottles of Fireball for the better part of 4 hours. It's like the greatest thing in the world.
I'm built for that though.
You are built for that. Last one, man. I'm going after this to interview Jim Kelly at his at Ilio's.
Ilio DePaulo's.
Yeah.
So do you know the history about that place with him and his wife too?
Tell me that.
Well, you can ask him.
Okay, I'll
you can ask him.
So what would you ask Jim Kelly?
That
you don't know.
Listen, I have a good relationship with Jim. I know a lot about him. Make fun of me for not texting back. To you because he hates when I don't text him back.
With the phone.
I'm so bad with my phone.
Yeah.
Every time I see him, he's like, "Hey, asshole!" Like, just say okay. And I'm like, "I'm sorry, Jim. I apologize. Like, it's not you. I'm not trying to do it to you."
Yeah,
like,
you grew up outside Fresno. I don't think you're like a big tech guy, like texting back all the time, buried in your phone.
I mean,
what's he got?
951 unread texts.
Okay, hold on a second.
I try.
What do I have right now? How do you know?
It'll usually pop up on the icon.
Well, I had like 400 this summer. I think I went through them. I'm proud of that too.
Yeah.
What does Jim mean to you?
Jim has been awesome. He's taken me under his wing. He's given me a lot of insight about this city, how to be a Western New Yorker. He was a guy that didn't want to be here when he got drafted.
I know, dude.
And sure enough, he lives his life here and raises a family and is still so intertwined, with his foundation here and the people of Western New York. So he's been nothing but great to me, and I love him and I respect him. And I know he's been battling a lot of different things throughout his life, the last few years especially, and he's done nothing but have a smile on his face and attack it each and every day, and he's doing great now.
You think you drink more beer than them?
Right now? Yes.
Wow.
I think you go
sure?
prime for prime.
Yeah.
I think he's kicking my butt.
I think so too.
Yeah.
When we come back up for Bills Mafia, what's the one thing we got to do? We're going to come up and tailgate
for a game.
Yeah. What's the one thing you want to throw me through a table? Do you have a tip?
Yeah. So there's the bowling ball shots that I've seen. It's like this old bowling ball and people take shots out of it. There's Pinto Ron who does the mustard and ketchup. Maybe you get up on the tailgate and squirt them with mustard and ketchup.
Okay.
I think that's pretty fun.
Should I go in the pit? I've been reading about people. All right, so I'm going to read you.
Yeah.
I'm going to read you a headline, and you tell me if they should or should not do this. Maybe it's like a PSA where you tell fans, like, do not go in the pit on LSD and cocaine. Okay, this is the headline: Man on LSD and cocaine and other substances. Zen jumped into the pit and were charged. The pit is, of course, where they're building the new stadium.
Yeah. So there was a time last year where we went on a little hot streak.
Yeah.
And people were convinced it was because we were sacrificing people to the pit.
Sacrificing people to the pit.
So this offseason, I did that. schedule release.
Oh, I love that.
In the pit. So
That
that
was
was my way of sacrificing myself
Yourself
to the
into
pit, so nobody else has to do it. So
Don't do it anymore.
don't do it anymore. And stay off the other substances as well
He's
as the
a
ones
fucking
before.
public safety whiz, dude. You think he's unsafe? He's safe. Josh, appreciate the time, dude.
Thank you so much. I really
Best of
appreciate
luck
it.
this
That was
year,
awesome.
dog. Yeah.
Go Bills.
Yeah.